open up with here. If I could just find the play button. There it is. Is our bodies smart, or are our bodies not smart? They're smart. So we have all these systems here. I have all the organs. I sat down and I was like, let's really break this down and make this easy for people to understand. The body's smart. Do people tell us this often? No. But there's so many different systems that perform specific functions, yet work with harmony with the other systems in your body. So you have the digestive system, the endocrine system, which is responsible for your hormones, your heart, which pumps your blood, your lungs, which are responsible for your breathing, your musculoskeletal system, which allows us to move our muscles and our joints, okay? Reproductive system, urinary system. But there's one system there that governs all the other systems. Which one is that? It's listed there. The nervous system, right. So the nervous system is comprised of the brain, spinal cord, and 3 types of nerves. Nerves which are sensory, which are nerves that can sense pain and pressure. Motor, which are nerves that allow your muscles to move. And autonomic nerves. And these are the nerves that are telling the respiratory system, cardiovascular system, detoxification system, endocrine system, urinary, reproductive, and metabolic systems what to do. Okay? Because are we the ones controlling all those systems? No. It's your nervous system, those autonomic nerves. So I left one out. One system out. What system could it be? Oh, the immune system. That's what we're talking about here tonight. That's why we're all here. So it's our body armor. So what organs make up the immune system? Okay? Let's start with the gatekeepers, the tonsils and adenoids. For children, many times, what do the pediatricians do? They take them out. Does that make our children healthier or potentially sicker over time? Or more vulnerable over time? It makes them more vulnerable. Right. You need those. Our bodies were created with those organs for a specific purpose. If they inflame or if they swell, that means they're reacting and they're fighting. If they're chronically reacting and fighting, that's not a good thing either. Okay? So where the conventional healthcare system goes with that is, okay, we got to take them out. We got to cut them out, remove them, because that's bad. That can cause more problems. Not so fast. Okay? I think we're jumping the gun a little too soon with that. Your tonsils and adenoids are your first line of immune defense. When you're breathing the air in, the germs, the pathogens, a lot of that is not turning into a full-blown sickness or illness for you, where you're expressing symptoms. Then we have our lymphatic system, which makes up a good portion of our immune system. Does anybody know what lymph is? Or you ever hear of lymph nodes? Sometimes if you're expressing symptoms like maybe a fever or you have a sore throat or a sinus infection, you'll feel around your neck, in the back, or in the front, and you'll feel like, what's that? Is that a tumor? Is that something, I better call my doctor up? No, it's your lymph nodes that are sending out lymph and that are actually trapping the germs, okay? And that's going to be safely eliminated from your body. Your body's, again, smart, so smart. So smart that, smarter than many of us have been led to believe, okay? And then you have your thymus. Your thymus sits right in the middle of your chest. That kicks out the white blood cells, okay? These are the fighters. Okay, these are trapping the germs, the viruses, the bacteria in response to the foreign invaders. And then the bone marrow is where the cells are produced, the platelets for clotting. The spleen is on your left side here. It's your blood filter. Okay, you have to filter out the harmful pathogens in the bad blood. That's what your spleen does. Okay, and then your Peyer's patches and your appendix are actually in your GI tract, in your intestinal tract. A lot of times, maybe some of us here, what happens? We go to our doctor, we get pain, sharp pain, we get acute appendicitis, right? Which could be a medical emergency, okay? But what do most people believe out there? I'm all for having it removed if it inflames, if it can rupture, if it can burst, sure, it could be life-threatening. But what can we be doing to keep our appendix healthy so that we don't have to have it removed? Okay? Are you healthier with your appendix or without your appendix? With it. It's there for a reason. What does it do? It's a storehouse for the good bacteria. Okay? You're healthier with it. The Peyer's patches, those are little patches found in your small intestine that will help to balance the bacteria. Did you know there's more bacteria than cells in your body? And there's 70-some trillion cells in the human adult? way more bacteria. And what do we, first thing that comes to mind when we hear the word bacteria? Bad, or sickness. There's good and there's bad. Way more bacteria in our body than there are cells. I'm going to move quick through some of these slides because there's a lot of them. But again, if anybody wants the PowerPoint, it will be in your inbox tomorrow. How do you know whether you're healthy or sick? We're going to answer this question. Health defined. This is World Health Organization. They're pretty popular these days with the coronavirus. I have a lot of references to the World Health Organization. A state of physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. How will most people call themselves healthy? The first phrase of that or the last phrase of that? The last. If they are absent from disease or infirmity, if they feel good and look good, they'll say they're healthy. But can you really be sick and feel good and look good? Yes, you can. Okay? World Health Organization gets it. But how many people and how many doctors are promoting that? Not a lot. Not as many as there should be. So where does all health and function originate from? Before I give you the answer here.
Brain.
Yes, sir. You got it. Your nervous system, which is the brain. So there it is. Brain, spinal cord, and then the spinal nerves branching into smaller nerves, all the way to your fingertips, all the way to your toes. So if interference due to poor posture or abnormal spinal biomechanics or pelvic biomechanics, or you're born with a long leg or short leg, that's what we do as chiropractors. We check for these things and we give you solutions to manage and fix and maintain your framework. Okay, that can disrupt function. That's a source of interference. It's a source of stress. When we hear the word stress, what do we think of? Someone's causing a fight or flight reaction within us, right? That is stress. That's emotional or mental stress. This is physical stress. Again, remember, absence of disease or infirmity. You guys just gave me the answer. You said that you could be sick or could not be functioning properly and feel good and look good. For many people, this is the case when it comes to their spinal health. By the time their back goes out, quote unquote, or they have shooting pain down their leg or a headache, when I evaluate them, oftentimes I'll see this didn't just start when your pain started. This started way before that. So here's what we got to do to fix it, and usually fixing it takes some time. So who's actually considering this? If health, everyone's health is important here. I'm not going to ask that question. That would be silly. Why not go to every measure possible if you're not already to manage your health by not excluding chiropractic from it? So again, chiropractic isn't just to relieve headaches, back pain, or neck pain. It's to keep yourself healthy and well. I personally will go every week for an adjustment. I try to not go so often. I recognize that that's what my body needs. Everyone's different. Okay, some people go twice a week, some people go 3 times a week, some people go once a month. Okay, so it's an investment in you, and it's an investment in your health as a preventative tool and a maintenance tool to keep your spine and body functioning and healing well, because it's your nervous system that controls all function and healing. So optimal health equals optimal function. So if your immune system is weak against foreign invaders, such as viruses and bacteria, like the coronavirus, okay, then you're going to express symptoms. What is a symptom? A cough, a runny nose, a fever, achy joints, tired, yep. And what do we answer? Body's smart, right? So why would the body allow those things to happen? Why would it cause us to feel that way? It's telling us something's wrong. It's saying, slow down, maybe stay home from work or school and rest. Let me do what I gotta do. The more you're going and pushing and grinding and living every single day of your life, you're not allowing the immune system to fully fight to your advantage, okay? So all those organs we talked about, the thymus, the appendix, the tonsils and adenoids are working. That's what that is. The lymph nodes are swollen because they're trapping. The white blood cells are getting kicked out. You feel lousy, okay? But a lot of times that's the right thing at the right time for the right reason. How many of you never thought of it that way before? I remember when someone explained it to me, it's like, wow, I never thought of that, but that just makes total sense. You know, you won't hear that from your doctor. What's he going to tell you to do if you're expressing symptoms? Take something to stop your cough. Take something to lower the fever. What is a fever doing? When your body temperature increases, what is that doing to the germs? It's killing it faster. Okay? It'll shorten the duration of the illness. Okay? And what is it doing as well long term? Is it building up immunity against whatever viral strain or bacterial strain came against you? Yeah, it is. So in the long term, you're going to be much better off and much healthier by going through that short term. I know it's tough a lot of times, feeling lousy, staying home, taking a few days off, resting. But in the long run, you're going to be much healthier and it's going to be worth it. So we don't want to suppress symptoms. Okay? Now, before I move on here, when can certain symptoms become an emergency? So this is where we have to exercise wisdom, okay? If a fever goes up over 105 degrees, that's where you should probably go to the ER, okay? You want to bring it down in that event because it could be something more serious, more life-threatening. It could be like a staph infection. That's a medical crisis. Meningitis, viral or bacterial, crisis. Pneumonia for someone who is immune compromised is a medical crisis. That's where they can help you. Okay? I am not trying to deter anybody from seeking medical care when necessary. What I am saying is oftentimes people are going into that system way too early when it's not necessary. When you can just simply stay home, not take anything, just simply hydrate and rest, and your body will heal and become stronger as a result. Okay? Is it what I'm saying making sense to any of you? Okay, great. So what can cause your immune system to be reactive? So why, maybe some of us are sitting here and saying, I feel like I'm getting sick more frequently. Why am I getting sick more frequently? What can cause it to react? So this is where we put the power back in your hands. Exposure or contact. You just come into a new strain, your immune system, it got past the gatekeepers, got through, so now the immune system's fighting and you're sick. That happens for a lot of people. Or your immune system's weak to begin with, okay? Maybe it's been suppressed over time. So maybe you've taken a lot of vaccines, a flu shot every year, antibiotics, maybe your diet isn't great, maybe you're not fit, maybe you're not getting enough sleep at night, maybe you're experiencing high levels of stress. Maybe you lost a pet or a loved one, okay? A lot of times you lose, you're mourning the death of a loved one and you get sick right after because you're stressed. Your fight or flight, your stress hormones are elevated, that causes your immune system to not. It takes a break, takes a vacation, if you will. Okay, so decreased bodily function. Okay, that's when we're talking about the nervous system. So structural interference. If your body's out of balance structurally, it's not going to perform as well functionally. Too much stress, bad eating, drinking habits. We're going to touch on all these here. Not exercising enough, not sleeping enough, toxic overload, and small fraction that's due to your genetics. Okay. So here's how we feel. We already went through this one. This is pretty self-explanatory. We're going to blow through that. Are you really sick? How do you determine whether you are truly sick or merely expressing symptoms of good health? Okay? True or false? You are healthy when you feel good, symptom-free, and look good in the mirror. We already answered this. Pardon the redundancy here. We're going to move over this. False health is when everything is, what is that word? What should be in the blank there? Functioning. Okay. So here's the American way to stop symptoms, right? When you're sick, you go to the doctor, and the doctor gives you a prescription, and then you go home and you take the pills, right? You just pop the pills, stop the body from doing what it's doing. So these are the most common ones. Anything there that maybe you're thinking of, like, that should be there, but it's not there? No? Pretty well covered there? Okay. So we take drugs, medications for depression, anxiety, pain, coughs, sniffles, fevers, and then we try to just vaccinate ourselves and trick our immune system into believing it was already exposed. Okay. But then again, why do people still get the flu after they get the flu shot if it's so effective? I've got some statistics for you that I think you'll appreciate. It's coming up. Okay. The germ theory. Who invented the germ theory? Louis Pasteur. So in the late 1800s, germs or microbes cause you to be sick. Okay? Germs invade the body from the outside via the air that we breathe, the water we drink, and the food we consume. Human blood is sterile and can only be infected by outside microbes. Germs are monomorphic, which means they have only one form and can be identified by species. And specific diseases are caused by specific germs. Germs should be killed by multi-chemical formulas such as pharmaceuticals. Okay? Do you know, if you go and you research Louis Pasteur, he kind of rejected this whole theory on his deathbed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, look that one up when you go home.
Okay.
So we're gonna, that's still what most of society believes and is taught. I love this slide. When I was reviewing today, I couldn't believe I didn't have this included prior to today when I was doing my review this afternoon. 2 theories. You have a fish. The fish lives in a fishbowl. Fish needs water, good clean water to survive. Fishbowl on the left. How does that fishbowl look? Dirty, right?
Yucky.
Very yucky, very dirty, very unhealthy, right? Okay? So the fish is living in a dirty, unclean bowl. Should we give the fish some pills to take and let it continue to live in the bowl?
No.
I agree. Theory number 2. You got a fish, came in, we cleaned the tank, fish is healthy, right? He's a happy fish. Clean environment, happy environment. So, when we're sick, should we look inside our bodies to see how everything is optimally functioning and performing? Address those factors first prior to just running out. What can I take? I need to feel good and look good. Okay? Is everyone following me? You see where I'm going with this? Okay. I know we got a very bright group here tonight. Clean the tank first if the fish is sick. Start there. There might be more to it. Okay? The germ theory were true, and there were endless amounts of germs in the air we breathe, the ground we step on, the food we swallow, and the surfaces we come in contact with. And why would everyone die from germ outbreaks? Not everyone gets sick. Not everyone gets the coronavirus, okay, or the flu. How come every time someone coughs or sneezes near us, we don't always express symptoms? I will say, I personally am prone to sinus infections. This year I have not got one. I've set some new goals and some new resolutions with my lifestyle, particularly my diet. I've reduced sugar intake through fruit. I've increased my intake of beans and herbs. I've cut out a lot of the good fats too. I was consuming a lot of in the beginning to give my liver a break because the liver and gallbladder kind of work together to digest fat. Okay, so I went to a blood cell microscopist, had my blood looked at. It looked probably, if you were to give a 10, like a perfect score, a 10, mine was about a 7.5, 8. But I want a 10, right? Why settle for a 7.5 or an 8? So so what I did was, once the person who drew my blood showed me it on a screen, and basically said, okay, here's where you're at. So now it's like, okay, well, what am I going to do about it? You know, I'm not going to just, I know why. You know, there's a little bit of yeast in the blood. There were a couple cells that were clumped together in my liver and kidneys were a little hypersensitive, which was due to, I'm consuming a lot of fat. I was doing bulletproof coffee every morning and so forth. But pardon the self-reference, made the changes and have not expressed symptoms or gotten a sinus infection this year. And I'm adjusting probably 100 and some people here a week, okay? Different people, different germs, touching, breathing, getting coughed on. Sometimes I don't know how blood gets drawn. You know, someone's shaving, I get blood on me. I'm constantly washing my hands in between the work I do here. But for whatever reason, I didn't get sick. So, you know, same for you. If you work with kids at home, maybe you have a sick family member and you didn't catch it. You know, you didn't express the same symptoms they had. We're all different. There's all different terrains, all different environments, all different functioning levels of our immune systems. Okay? Sickness and disease will only reside in a weak, unhealthy body or environment. Okay? Build up your immune system naturally in order to reduce the amount of episodes where you express symptoms. Always address your environment first. If you're ignoring your environment and you're worried about the coronavirus, you should be. Okay? plain and simple. Follow the necessary steps. We're going to cover them all here tonight. Get to work, okay? That's all I'm going to say. Get to work. Work on yourself. You are responsible for your health, okay? Antibiotics. CDC showed antibiotic prescriptions were often written incorrectly in hospitals. Third, were written for too long of a period without proper evaluation or just unnecessary. So a lot of times kids go in with viral ear infections. What do they come out with from the pediatricians? An antibiotic. Okay? What does an antibiotic do? It kills bacteria. Some bacteria, all kinds, yes sir. Okay? But what does our body consist more of? Bacteria or cells? We need bacteria. There's good bacteria that helps our bodies function, especially our immune systems. Okay? Later in life, what we're doing is we're trading, that's coming up on a future slide there. MDs will prescribe for viruses, yeast, funguses, things that antibiotics are ineffective against. Dr. Jeffrey Linder there says, we know that antibiotic prescribing, particularly to patients who are not likely to benefit from it, increases the prevalence of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, a growing concern both here in the United States and around the world. Some conditions that can develop in adulthood as a result of consuming too many antibiotics when those adults are children: asthma, skin diseases, autoimmune conditions, hormonal imbalances, and even cancers. Okay? All immune system related conditions. And that's going to throw off our gut. 70% of our immune system's in the gut. So your immune system becomes weaker by the more antibiotics you take. When is an antibiotic necessary? Against what? Bad, harmful, life-threatening bacteria. Not meant to be taken long-term. It's meant to kill the bad bacteria. Okay? It's not, I love how some people will brag, I'm on an antibiotic, like it's a great thing. You know, it's, let's do what we gotta do. If it's life-threatening, sure, you need to take one. You know, there's a time and place for it. Okay, I'm all for it. Staph infection, strep, something like that. Bacterial pneumonia, meningitis, something like that. You need them, okay? But taking them just forever and forever, you know, Lyme disease, things like that, oh, not good. You're wiping your body out, okay? Disturbances in the human microbiota, antibiotics, excessive carbohydrate consumption, diet, too much sugar, too many grains. Grains can lead to what's called leaky gut. Too much pasteurized dairy products cause an inflammatory chronic inflammation, has a spillover effect that will suppress the immune system, okay? It's essential for you to understand that in order to build and maintain a robust immune system, you must restore and rebalance the normal ratio of good to bad bacteria in the GI tract. 85% good, 15% bad. What is it for most people? It's reversed, okay? It's the other way around. Tylenol. Okay, acetaminophen is the active ingredient. It's also found in NyQuil, Sudafed, and Excedrin. Number one cause of sudden liver failure in the United States, because what do we take tons of? Tylenol. For a fever, for a cold, for a headache, for, you know, some symptoms that our body is producing and allowing for a reason, okay? Designed to relieve pain, okay? Sometimes is pain necessary at times for the body to function and heal? Sometimes, yeah, it's the right response. The body is, again, is it smart or not smart? Smart. So if you put your hand on a hot stove, what do you feel? Pain. Right, that's a pretty smart response, right? Because what does it do? It causes us to pull our hand off that hot stove pretty quick. So if we didn't feel pain, we left our hand on the hot stove, what would happen? It would burn. It'd be destroyed. Aspirin and ibuprofen, okay? Number one cause of GI ulcerations in the stomach. Also can lead to strokes, heart attacks, hemorrhages, erectile dysfunction, DNA damage, high blood pressure. Okay, Scottish study came out in JAMA. Everyone heard of JAMA? Journal of the American Medical Association, 2010. Was once thought to prevent heart attacks and stroke, right? Take the baby aspirin, 81 milligram. Recent research said no, okay? Can really affect your circulation and your blood flow. It's funny, right? Because the more people that I talk to who get it or read about, you go on Facebook and these different, social media platforms, it seems like more people who are, especially in the last few years. Now I'm going to show you a diagram of the effectiveness of the flu shot the last decade. It seems like people who get the shot are more likely to break out in flu-like symptoms days after getting the shot. Does anyone know somebody where that maybe a couple of you? We're going to go through the ingredients here, okay? People who believe that vaccines act as magic bullets but still are not worried about their lifestyle, what they're eating, the amount of sleep they're getting, movement, how their bodies are functioning, they're not really setting themselves up to be the healthiest they could be. Another thing that I find kind of odd, if you will, the pro-vaccine crowd out there who says you should be getting your shots on a regular schedule, you should be getting a flu shot every year. These people they refuse to be near people who have decided not to vaccinate. Why would they be worried if the vaccines cover them from getting the illness? I don't know. I think they're talking out of both sides.
The argument I've heard is because, you're not participating in herd immunity.
Right.
And
that's
the people that are sick or too young that can't take the virus, you're just gonna kill them.
Yeah.
So shame on you.
Right. So that's usually the response. Thank you for sharing that. Peer-reviewed studies reveal that unvaccinated people are the most protected against the flu. A CDC News report came out in the Journal of Clinical Infectious Diseases. Why? Because there's two types of immune response we're going to cover. They're building up natural immunity, and there's so many different viral strains. So why, over the last couple of years, what you're going to see is the actual CDC statistics, not my made-up statistics, of why the flu shot is only, 1 year it was only effective 29%. This year, 2020, was 45%. Not even half effective, because there's so many strains. It's not a cure. It's not something that's going to prevent you from getting it. Can you get the flu and then get the is it possible the flu vaccine may trigger the wrong immune reaction? Because again, there's two types. Okay, there's acquired and there's natural. We're going to cover those both here.
I don't understand why some people say because you don't get the flu shot, you're harming other people. Have you ever heard someone say that?
Yeah.
Silly.
That's going to be an ongoing argument, the whole debate on vaccines. I'm for pro-choice personally. So when people ask me, Doc, it may sound like I'm anti-vaccine. I'm not. If for infants or children, I think parents who are educated and informed and use wisdom and common sense and will do their due diligence, they will research what am I injecting my child in? What are the pros and the cons? What are the benefits and the risks? And then they're going to make an informed decision based on the facts. They're not just going to line up in line with the rest of the people out there and just do what they're told. Okay? I'm for pro-choice. Okay? Make the decision for yourself. If someone comes in and says, Doc, I looked at this, my child has to go to preschool. I feel in my gut, I've read this X, Y, and Z, and I feel it's safe that little Johnny gets a measles MMR vaccine. Great. I'm not going to sit there and ridicule that mom and be like, you're wrong for doing that. You have it on both sides, pro and anti-vaccine, okay? I'm kind of probably somewhere in the middle, maybe slightly leaning anti. If that makes sense. But we all have our opinions. We all, the whole debate is going to remain. But again, do your due diligence, do your homework, use informed consent when you go. And we're going to get to our rights here. So 2 types of immunity. Okay, Th1 response. This is when we don't get vaccinated, okay? We contract the virus. We get symptoms. We get nausea, we get a fever, we get headache, we get achy joints, and we're tired. We stay home from work. So to that particular strain of virus that got into our body and caused our immune system to defend us, okay, over time, our body's going to be resistant against that. We're not going to contract it the same way. Chicken pox. Now there's a vaccine for chicken pox, right? When I was 12 years old, I had chicken pox. Wasn't life-threatening, okay? Remember I still have some scars. I have a few on my forehead. I remember staying home from school for like a week or two, you know, had a fever, felt lousy, got it, never got a vaccine. You know, and some parents, what they'll do is they'll you know, if their kids didn't get it, they'll put them together so they get it. They'll have like an outing, if you will, yeah. So, but just to build up natural immunity, that's Th1 response. Th2 response is where, okay, I don't want to actually contract the virus, the chicken pox we'll use. I'm going to go get the vaccine for the chicken pox. So you shoot yourself up with a vaccine, and now you get chicken pox. So it's triggering an emergency response, an inflammatory response. The same way as if you ate a heavily processed meal, loaded with sugar, trans fats, artificial sweeteners. A lot of people are doing that to themselves on a daily basis. Okay, so what can that lead to long term? That can lead to heart disease, cancer, diabetes. I'm going to go through the list of top killers here. Heart disease and cancer are 1 and 2 in our country right now. Okay. I'm gonna just, I could go off right there, but I'm just gonna hold off till we get to the slide here.
Yeah.
Here's what's in a flu shot. I'll let you guys take a look at that. You're gonna get this if you got the email. Thimerosal, we know that's mercury, but it's just a trace amount. That's what they'll say, right? It's just a little bit of mercury. Egg protein, formaldehyde, which they use to embalm bodies. Just a little bit though, right? A little bit can't kill any. All sorts of good stuff, right? And that's, again, CDC. Here it is, guys. CDC.gov. I laugh every single year when I get this data, when I look at it. When I looked at it for this year, I just laugh. I'm like, but yet they're like, get your flu shot. But don't worry about that. Get your flu shot. Get your flu shot. Just get in line. Stop at your Walgreens and get your flu shot. Everywhere they administer them now. What's the agenda? Are they that desperate to make money? Do they think we're that dumb, where we don't understand what's happening here? Okay, it's just, I shake my head. Like, look at these numbers. 2010, 2011, 60%. 1 year it was over half effective. 52 in 2013, 14 as well. It's crazy how heavily marketed the flu vaccine is in our country. 2020 CDC morbidity mortality weekly report, the current influenza vaccine has been 45% effective. Overall, against 2019-2020 seasonal influenza A and B viruses. Specifically, the flu vaccine has been 50% effective against influenza B, Victoria viruses, and 37% effective against influenza A. You would think like that would be pulled off, they would go back to research how it would be like 80% or 90% or 95% effective. But no, they're pushing stuff that's barely scratching the surface, not even. What about the flu? Hugh Freudenberg. Has anyone heard of Hugh Freudenberg? I think he was a Nobel Prize winner. Look him up. So I told you to look something. Oh, Louis Pasteur debunked his own theory on his deathbed. Hugh Freudenberg, look him up. He's a good one. Immunogeneticist, MD, not a chiropractor, not a naturopathic doctor. Okay. If an individual has had 5 consecutive flu shots between 1970 and 1980, his or her chances of getting Alzheimer's disease is 10 times higher than if they had 1, 2, or no shots. The more flu shots you get every single year over the last decade, you increase your risk of getting Alzheimer's disease. Research. That's from an immunogeneticist Nobel Prize winner. In fact, the Centers for Disease Control admit the virus strains chosen for the vaccine are nothing more than an educated guess. The CDC's own studies showed that flu vaccines fail to work as much as 84% of the time. So it's your body, your choice. Again, I have a list of resources on the next 2 slides here. In Pennsylvania, religious and medical exemption are still intact. If you don't know your rights, you can't exercise them. There's a complete list of the state exemptions. If you go to the National Vaccine Information Center, again, you'll have this in your inbox by the end of tomorrow, where you can log and visit the site. Here's some more sites that are recommending. If you're interested in learning more about how to exempt yourself or your kids or your grandkids, or if you want to pass this along to somebody you care about, you'll have this information. I'm just a messenger, guys, by the way. I'm just giving you information here tonight. Anyone watching, it's just information. It's harmless. Here we go, everyone's favorite topic these days, right? Coronavirus. Is it going to wipe out humanity?
No.
No, maybe. I don't know. Should we be worried?
I'm not worried.
I mean, it's all you hear about now. I mean, it's an election year. That's probably going to pick up soon. But it is. The coronavirus has hijacked the media these days. I don't know where it came out of left field, right? All of a sudden. All the way out of Wuhan, China.
It's very close. It's New York City now.
New York, yeah. Florida, they're saying there's a case. A few on the West Coast, Washington and California.
Not Israel.
So let's before we dive into the coronavirus, let's not forget the other pandemics. Okay, we're gonna give you the numbers on these pandemics. So none of us were around here, right, for 1918. You weren't around for this, were you?
What's that?
1918?
No.
No. But
I wasn't even a figment.
you were on 1936.
36.
Okay. So yeah, nobody was around for this. But let's just let's take the information we're given here. Flu pandemic in 1918. This is called the Spanish flu. Okay. So the Spanish flu was the deadliest in world history. Okay, probably didn't have the advancements in technology back in 1918 that they have now. Had a lot to do with that being a pandemic. It infected 1 out of 3 of the world's population, infected 500 million people, and killed 675,000 Americans. That is a true pandemic. Coronavirus isn't close to that yet. It's a rookie. We call it a rookie. Okay. So let's move on to the next pandemic epidemic. I'm not going to go through every single one, by the way. So these ones now I'm going to share are more recently. We remember this. Swine flu 2009, H1N1, right? Remember that one? That's still pretty new. 61 million people were infected, and 575,000 people in the world died. Most of those were not in the United States. Coronavirus.
I think there were 2,000 in the United States.
Yeah, which is still
Small.
Okay. So that was swine flu. Next one we have here is Ebola. Remember this one, right? Out of Africa. 2014, 28,000 people infected. That's a pretty higher ratio there. Deaths to if you get Ebola. It's not good. Coronavirus still rookie. So coronavirus said originated in China. 7 strains are known to infect humans, including the new virus. It usually affects the respiratory tract. 4 of those strains can cause common colds. 2 others, by contrast, rank among the deadliest of human infections, which is SARS. We remember SARS from 03-04, severe acute respiratory syndrome, and Middle East respiratory syndrome, or MERS. The virus infects the lower respiratory tract. Patients initially develop a fever, cough, and aches, can progress to shortness of breath and complications from pneumonia. They could develop nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. Some could only become mildly ill. Again, this is everything we talked about already, right? Not everyone reacts the same way or expresses the same type of symptoms. Adults of all ages have been infected. The risk is highest for older people and those with other health conditions such as diabetes. Most of the 1,000 people whose deaths were included in a study by the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention were age 60 or older. Okay? And they had other underlying health complications. They were not healthy people. They were not functioning properly. They were not likely taking care of themselves. We don't know, though. We don't know all the facts. But what we do know is you're older. Usually as we get older, our immune systems aren't as strong and robust. And there were some underlying health conditions associated with these folks. Okay, the current risk in the United States is low, says the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. There's very few cases in the United States, and the virus isn't spreading widely in the United States. Okay, there's a few cases kind of coastal, if you will. New York, Florida, Washington, California. Okay, it's pretty sparse. Majority of confirmed infections who were infected while abroad were quarantined upon their return. Okay, I guess that's the main concern. If you're traveling, you know, they may not, if someone has a cough or they might quarantine you for a week or two, and then they'll let you go. Okay, but that's only if you're traveling abroad. Okay, if you're in the United States, you're fine. You're nothing to worry about. Okay. The agency, CDC, expects the virus to spread more widely in the country. Is preparing for that likelihood. You know, Trump today just came out or yesterday, $8 billion to research to containing this, and you know, so steps are being made, progress is being made. So that should give us some peace of mind. You know, we're aware, we're going to contain it. How do I go back, Allison?
Right here.
It's too before.
Okay. Oh boy.
Hit next.
Go back. Yes, next.
Sorry, guys. Okay, I got it here now.
Absolutely.
You better hit play.
Yeah.
Good job.
We're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next one.
Yes. Okay, so how dangerous is the coronavirus? It appears to be less deadly than SARS, which erupted in China in 2002, spread globally in 2003. It killed about 10% of the people it infected, while almost 3% of the people confirmed to be infected with this new coronavirus have died, according to the World Health Organization data. So here it is. Okay, I just grabbed this 2 days ago. So this number probably changed. I think it's showing 79,000 people globally as of February 24th. I think it's closer to 100,000 now. But that's still a small amount of people on the planet. There's how many billion people? A lot. Okay. 3% mortality rate compared to SARS and compared to MERS. Okay, 34% mortality rate with MERS, 10% mortality rate with SARS. Okay, still very, very low, and I think the measures necessary by the government, and again, with information getting out there of how we should be taking care of ourselves in order to prevent ourselves from contracting this, I think people are going to be going to extra measures and, you know, more lengths to protect themselves on their own. So here it is, the leading causes of death in the United States, World Health Organization: heart disease, 647,000, cancer, 599,000 people in the last year, respiratory diseases, Alzheimer's and diabetes, hundreds of thousands. Coronavirus in the United States as of today is 11. Okay, but yeah, it's all we're hearing. Okay, stock market's up and down, up and down.
Yeah, I
You know,
know,
it's reacting. It's
Yeah. Overreacting.
all of which had underlying health issues. Okay, these weren't healthy people. It's not like they were out there, they took a flight somewhere, they sat next to somebody who coughed on them, they were healthy overall, and then they died. These were people who already were in the hospital, on medications.
Yeah.
They weren't well,
Mm-hmm.
okay? But again, the media will grab a story like this and try to just scare everybody. So now eventually I know they're working on a vaccine for this. So they're gonna now try to get everyone to get vaccinated against it. But yeah,
Everybody's.
it's gonna be the same thing like the flu, you know, same thing. So, with that said,
I still think it'd be that scary.
what am I thinking? ounce of prevention of cause is worth a pound of cure. You've heard me say this before. I'm not afraid of the coronavirus because I have a plan. Okay? Health matters. Health is your greatest asset, your greatest tool, it's your foundation. Okay? Just be reminded of that. Do what's necessary to get yourself healthy and well, and don't worry. Because the more you worry, that's going to affect your health. Viruses come, viruses go. This is going to be in the media like it is now, and eventually it's going to be out of the media. And we're going to look back, we're going to laugh. Yeah, remember the coronavirus? Yeah. Remember how the media just went haywire like they did with other stuff in the past? Yeah. And guess what? This won't be the last one either. There's going to be something probably 4, 8, 10 years from now. It's going to come out of nowhere and it's going to just scare everyone, scare the general public. So, viruses come, viruses go. Take care of yourself and your family. Be prepared to enjoy the world. Okay, I'm going to go to Italy this summer in June.
Oh, nice.
Are
So-
you going?
Yeah,
Yeah, my friend just canceled.
Sardinia. It's not me. I've been to the mainland, but we're going to go to the island of Sardinia. But we're going. Am I afraid? Someone with coronavirus sitting next to me on the flight?
They're worried about getting quarantined coming back in the country.
Yeah.
Just because they're
But
animals.
what I'm anticipating is by June, it's going to be
Over and
It's
done.
going.
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that.
Are you going on a hiking trip?
I'm going to do some hiking while I'm
Are
there.
you really?
I sure
With
am.
the group?
This is my wife and I.
Oh, okay. She was going with the group.
Yeah, we're gonna hike, we're gonna rent a boat,
Yeah.
we're gonna explore the island, we're
Good
gonna go
for
to
you.
agritourismo. It's gonna be a good time.
Good.
It's gonna be my one big trip of the year. So, oh boy,
Oh, you're old.
I know how to do this now.
Oh, mindset.
All right, here we go. Okay. So, health mindset. Most people, how are they? Are they reactive or proactive? Okay. When you're proactive, which we all are going to aim at and we're going to work better at, you build health daily. Necessary essentials will support normal function and healing. You don't wait to get sick. You act as if you're already sick. Think of that. You know, some of you, that may be what it takes. Tell yourself, I have stage 4 cancer. If I had stage 4 cancer, what lengths would I go to keep myself healthy to survive? You'd probably be juicing, you'd probably be watching your stress, you'd probably be exercising if you could, you'd probably be making sure you get enough sleep, maybe getting chiropractic care, but other natural remedies. So yeah, some people maybe tell yourself that, you know, you're not sick in reality, but if you were sick, what lengths would you go to get healthy? If that's the motivation you need to get started, try that. Believe the ability and power for you to live healthily lies inside of you already. Okay? My job for myself is to just allow my intelligence through my nervous system to express itself to its capacity. Okay? Believe that adjusting your lifestyle is in your control and you have the ability to support or work against your body. Okay? It's your choice. You are responsible, accept whatever may come your way. What can you do to prevent or change the outcome of your current condition? So we're going to cover all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So function, food, fitness, elimination, detoxification, sleep, stress, and supplementation. This is the blueprint to a healthier body and a stronger set of body armor. So we already did this, the nervous system. The brain, spinal cord, nerves, misalignments can cause interference silently. We look at your posture. From the front, you should be straight. From the side, your spine should have 3 curves to it. X-ray on the right side has a curve, so this person has better nerve communication. Person on the left has a kink in the water hose. Okay? They may or may not be symptomatic. We check for those things here. Here we go. Person on the right has a nice straight spine from the front, level hips. Person on the left has a dropped hip, a curved spine. That's a kink in the water hose. Not fully getting those nerve impulses through at 100%. Okay. So chiropractors correct and restore balance of the body. Okay, we remove misalignments called subluxations. Some chiropractors just specialize in pain management. They use modalities like heat electric stim ultrasound and cold lasers. I'm for those things, but you got to adjust and correct and restore healing and balance. Okay, that's true chiropractic. So here are some perks to chiropractic. JMPT, I'm going to point out this one right here, improves immunity by up to 200% in healthy individuals. Okay, study that came out. Can help lower blood pressure, Journal of Human Hypertension, C1 Atlas correction, first bone in your neck, less sick days, less doctor visits, less medications and surgeries. They don't want you to know that. Take more medications, see doctors more frequently, go to hospitals more often, right? We're the bad ones. We're just trying to give you another path. Try this. You know, it works for people. And removes interference from the nervous system. And it's not a cure. Chiropractic isn't a cure for back pain. Those of you maybe were told that, yeah, it cured my headaches, cured my back pain. It may have helped. Your body overcame it because it corrected an imbalance and a source of interference, but your body is smart, and it's just it's a health tool to help facilitate normal function and healing. Nutrient-dense food as we go here. Really quick on food. So nutrient density is what we want to concentrate on. Your top food sources: organic vegetables, herbs, cruciferous vegetables, non-starchy vegetables, fruits, raw nuts and seeds. Those are going to be your top nutrient-dense foods. Below that are going to be your meats, dairy, grains. You can see they're all the way down the list. Okay. Beans are something that I personally increased in my diet. I do a bowl of beans every day. Black beans, I alternate. Garbanzos, black, pintos, cannellini, navy. You just rotate them. What's that? I salt and pepper. Organic. I rinse them really well. All that. Strain them, rinse them, and I do that. I do that, and avocado, green juice, beans.
How long can you eat that? You don't eat it all the time, do you?
I do a cup of beans a day.
I mean, for weeks, or you switch?
Lots of protein, lots of antioxidants, lots of protein, good clean plant protein. Okay. Does anyone have the Blue Zone cookbook? Anyone familiar with the Blue Zones? Blue Zones are 5 different regions in the world. Sardinia, where I'm going to be visiting, actually has a Blue Zone. Small communities of centenarians. Highest concentrations of centenarians. Okay? So these people grow their own produce. One thing that they consume a lot of are beans. So that's something I've been reading and studying, kind of how these people live.
Aren't there a lot of carbs though in beans?
There's carbs, but they're complex. You're going to burn them for fuel, and it's high source of fiber.
Okay.
So you're going to eliminate, not going to
turn
store.
to sugar and.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and these people are not overweight. They're not diabetic, and they live over 100 years old. They're not on medication. So beans are a staple item in their daily diets. Okay, so beans are up there. Fish is a little bit below. Raw nuts and seeds are another thing. Like I like to mix up Brazil nuts, almonds,
I do that too.
walnuts, and cashews. Okay, all raw. Okay, most people aren't getting those. They're eating cereal. They're eating oatmeal. They're eating donuts. They're eating bagels. They're eating Subway sandwiches.
Is
McDonald's.
oatmeal bad?
Sugar, it's grains.
I know.
Yeah, so that's, oatmeal on this chart is going to appear somewhere in this neighborhood. Okay, you could probably, if it's whole, if it's steel cut, you could probably put it maybe around eggs, I'd say.
Not every
Same with
day.
eggs. What type of eggs? Pastured eggs. Eggs I've actually given up this year.
Oh,
I've taken a break on the eggs.
oh my God, didn't want
Okay,
that one.
so my protein is going to be Sun Warrior plant-based with a berry smoothie. I'll do some meat. I'll do, preferably organic meat. Beans are going to have a lot of protein. Nuts and seeds are going to have a lot of protein. Okay, so I've made my adjustments. I'm going to get my blood rechecked in May, and I'm going to see how it looks.
What about greens? Oh, lots of them.
Greens are going to be right at the top.
At the top, that's the first one.
Raw leafy green vegetables.
Yeah, that's the first one.
So it's kale, chard, spinach,
Romaine lettuce,
all of that.
bok choy.
Every couple times a day. Here we go, guys. Gotta move quick here. Inflammation, we know inflammation is at the root of fibromyalgia and all these other things. Simply, if some people will change their diets, their fibromyalgia can heal. Fibromyalgia is, what is fibromyalgia? Pain here, 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 and here?
Yeah.
What is it, 7 out of 11?
You can get rid of it.
Get your body healing. If your body's inflamed, it's inflamed for a reason, right? There's a trigger, there's a source of interference to normal function of healing. Remove the source of interference. Okay. Probiotics. Okay, something I take first thing every single morning. Okay, probiotic. Great. Again, probiotic. What are antibiotics? Bad bacteria. Kill bacteria. Probiotics help what? Increase healthy bacteria. Okay. So for many of you, if you suspect you're immune deficient, allergies, asthma, you should be taking a good, whole, complete probiotic like the doctor formulated brand we offer here. Okay. It's also going to help you absorb. If you're having GI trouble, if you're feeling bloated, constipated, irritable bowel syndrome, you should be on a probiotic. Okay. Whole, real, fresh, organic, plant-based, nutrient-dense, anti-inflammatory foods are the right fuel to support your immune system and equip you with the body armor you need to resist the foreign invaders. Let's start there. Good starting point. Okay, these are the anti-nutrients we want to get out of our diets, like sugar, gluten, grains, pasteurized dairy, bad fats, fried foods, and artificial ingredients. So here's a healing foods list. Again, I'm not going to read all this off. You're going to get this tomorrow. In case, here's more. Okay, 2 full slides worth of ideas for your fitness. We're going to go through this super, I'm not even going to stop this. I'm just going to go through quickly. We want to move more if we're not moving. If you're not, you cause a weakened immune system. Okay? Here's different types of fitness, different samples. Here's a HIIT workout, high intensity interval training. This takes 5 to 10 minutes to complete. It's on YouTube. There's plenty of videos. Optimal fitness schedule, 2 to 3 times a week weights, 1 to 2 times burst training, rest 1 day a week, and then take a day to walk, swim, etc. Elimination and detoxification. Okay, if you're consuming lots of fake, unhealthy food, lots of oatmeal, lots of grains, lots of pizza, pasta, potatoes, cereal, sweets, okay, boxed packaged foods, your body develops toxic overload over time. So when you're toxic, that makes your liver more stressed, your gallbladder more stressed, kidneys, okay, GI starts to inflame, you start to feel you lack energy and you're more prone to getting sick. Okay? Number one, best way to detoxify, change your diet first. Okay, don't take a supplement, change your diet. Okay? Look at the root. If you're getting GI disturbances, maybe you want to follow what's called an elimination diet, a juice fast with bone broth, daily for 2 weeks. Okay, after the 2 weeks, you can gradually begin to reintroduce fibrous foods like organic vegetables, berries, beans, and raw nuts and seeds back into your diet. Okay. Best detox supplement, and this is something else. This is the last thing. This is the first thing that I've been consuming every single day this year. Half of a squeezed lemon and 6 to 8 ounces of water first thing in the morning with my probiotic, with my 5,000 IU D3. Okay, before I have my smoothie, before I have my coffee, that's number one. Vitamin C, probiotics, D3. Haven't gotten sick this year.
Doctor, I've been drinking the lemon juice with celery.
Good.
I put little celery
Love it.
and an apple, a green
Excellent.
apple. And it's
Just make sure the celery is organic, because if it's not organic, it's highly contaminated with pesticides.
okay.
It's on the dirty dozen.
There's a way to clean it though.
Oh, I
Very
cleaned
clean.
it very good before
Okay.
I use it. I
Yep.
do clean it, yes. And it's very good.
Okay, sleep.
There's a way to clean it.
Sleep is essential, okay? We're gonna spend a little bit of time on sleep, because some of us, we just give up, we throw our hands up and say, I can't sleep. 4 hours, 3 hours, my mind doesn't shut off, right? How do we there's gotta be a way. We can't just stop there and say, and give up so easily, right? You need to sleep. Sleep needs to be as of equal importance, if not more important than what you're eating. I know a lot of us love the topic of diet, changing our diet, read this diet book, that, change this and that. It has its place, but sleep also has its place. And I feel like sleep doesn't get the attention it deserves, okay? Sleep is so critical. Staying up late, watching TV, on your phone, on your tablet, just laying in bed awake, worrying about the coronavirus is not good for us.
I don't want
It's not the best thing for us out there, okay? So it's vital to know if you are currently getting enough sleep. If not, go to every measure necessary to make sure you're working at this. Don't just quit and give up and say, I can't do it. And, you know, I wouldn't run out and take something either. And then that's just like saying, okay, well, that's gonna fix my sleep problem. There's more to it, okay? So reduce, eliminate as much light as possible from your room, number one. Light and sound, okay? Maybe you need to get a darker set of blinds for your bedroom or curtains, okay, to keep the light out. Because light, even if your eyelids are closed, your body still senses the light. I know in my room, now that it's been getting light so early, I don't have the darkest shades in my bedroom. I get up when the sun comes up, right? So turn off all your electronics. I know some of you might rely on an alarm on your phone, okay? Make sure you keep your device 5 feet from you because it's gonna emit radiation. It's gonna affect your sleep cycles and your hormones, okay? Good restful sleep should extend for at least 7 hours. If it's 4, 5, or 6, it's not enough. You're sleep deprived. You might say, well, I have energy, I can get through the day. Some people drink all their coffee and energy drinks and, you know, stuff, whatever. Not good. Interference to your health. 7 hours of sleep, okay? What's taking place when you sleep? When you're in REM deep sleep,
You're healing.
you're healing. Your immune system is working its hardest when you sleep. That's when the good bacteria, the bad bacteria are overturning, they're balancing out, the lymphatic system's draining, everything is getting ready for the next day. A lot of times when people go to bed when they're expressing symptoms or fighting a virus or have a cold or something like that, when do they feel their worst symptomatically? When they're, body's working. Because you're not going pushing. How do people a lot of times feel during the day and they push and they're expressing symptoms? Oh, not so bad. As soon as they get home, that's the time, okay? You gotta give the body the chance it needs and deserves to heal and work to your advantage. Don't eat or drink anything except water 3 hours or less before bed, okay? I know like on weekends I'll go out with friends for dinner, with my wife, we'll have a late dinner sometimes, it just works out that way. I will not have a good night's sleep. I'll be tossing and turning, I'll wake up, I'll go to the bathroom. I can't get that deep sleep. So again, this takes conscious effort, folks. You have to set boundaries. Okay, it's your body, it's your life. You determine what happens. If it happens once or twice, it doesn't go right, don't beat yourself up over it. It happens to me too. Okay? But make sleep, and I hope you take away that sleep is very, very critical in order for your immune system to be strong. Stress is another one. Don't just say I'm a stressed out, I'm an anxious person. Okay? I have a great mental health counselor, a holistic mental health counselor. If any of you want her information, I can give it to you. You can see me. That might be helpful for you. For some of you, maybe you can just figure out how to get over your stress on your own, which is fine. I'm always available to talk to if any of you want to talk to me. I could maybe say something or offer you some advice to help. I hope so. Potential stressors could be people, job, money, news, competing with others. It's a cutthroat society we live in, caffeine, toxins, all those things that we put into our bodies that causes a fight or flight. Sympathetic nervous system response, okay? Stress can shorten your life if it's not controlled. How does it connect to our immune system? This diagram depicts that. So, the sympathomedullary pathway. What organ in your body is responsible for secreting stress hormones? The adrenal glands, yes. Okay? Adrenal fatigue, adrenal overload is probably at its highest level ever. A lot of that is due to our lifestyle choices, what we put into our bodies, and our reaction to perceived stressors are the main causes of that. The adrenal medulla, it's controlled by the autonomic nervous system, releases adrenaline, okay? You know, we get the adrenaline rush, superhuman strength, you know, in situations, you know, soccer moms would lift the car off their stuck child under the car. Like, how does that happen? That's fight or flight, that's adrenaline, okay? But it's very short. When you're in a constant fight or flight, what happens? Your body will die quicker. Your body will break down faster, okay? The pituitary adrenal system, higher brain centers in the hypothalamus, releases corticotrophin. Pituitary gland, adrenal cortex, corticosteroids can cause changes in the liver, which can release energy and the immune system suppressed. Okay? So there's a connection between the brain, the adrenal glands, and the immune system. Okay? The immune system takes a vacation the more stressed you are. Okay? Not good for you, which is why, again, I mentioned earlier tonight, you lose a loved one or a pet, you get depressed. It's okay, but a lot of times you'll express symptoms. You know, your immune system, the gatekeepers will go on a break. The germs, you breathe them in, they come in, and your body has to fight and protect you now. Okay. Body armor. Okay. Here are the supplements. We're nearing the end here, guys. Probiotics, vitamin D3, and vitamin C. Those are the top 3 supplements. The vitamin C you can get a lot from the food. Okay? Water soluble, you can take a lot of vitamin C because your body's going to release it. Vitamin D is fat soluble, 80 E and K. You don't want to overdo it on those. Probiotics, again, we have them here for men and women if you're interested. We also have the D3 5000 I use. Okay? Top food sources of vitamin C are going to be your organic berries, lemons, limes, oranges, mango, papaya, grapefruit, melons, and cantaloupe, organic kale, cauliflower, sweet potatoes, and Brussels sprouts. Load up on those, guys. Zinc, 30 to 75 milligrams. Top food sources are your oysters, raw pumpkin seeds, raw almonds, tahini butter, which is an ingredient in hummus. You can make your own hummus at home, okay? In your food processor, your Vitamix, or if you have a high-powered blender. Organic grass-fed beef and organic fruit and chicken breast. Good sources of zinc. I would prefer you get it from food, the zinc and vitamin C, before you take a supplement. Okay, I don't think it's necessary. It's tough with the vitamin D because the main source of vitamin D is from where? Sun. Winter months, we don't get as much sun exposure than we do in the summer. So it's a good idea to take a supplement. Okay, a whole food supplement like the vitamin code there. If you're expressing symptoms, the essential oils were great. We carry the Young Living, but if you use doTERRA or another brand of essential oil, I'm not gonna, again, it's like the vaccine subject. I'm not gonna get in your face and be like, oh, what are you doing? You use whatever's working for you. Antiviral, best ones are gonna be grapefruit, orange, tangerine, eucalyptus, lemon, thieves, which is a combo of cloves and cinnamon, oregano, peppermint, and myrrh, and then antibacterial are gonna be thyme, thieves, melaleuca, lemongrass, peppermint, oregano, spearmint, and cypress. You're gonna get this slide, guys. And then if you're expressing symptoms of good health, load up on your raw garlic cloves. Okay, you can chop or mince it. Colloidal silver, it's a natural antibiotic. You can pick it up online or at a health food store like House of Nutrition. Great to supplement with if you're pink eye, conjunctivitis, colds, flu, pneumonia, your infections, strep throat, sinusitis. You don't want to take it longer than 7 to 14 days because it works like an antibiotic. Okay? It could also turn your skin blue. You don't want to take it longer than 2 weeks. Okay? Make sure it's true colloidal silver, not a knockoff brand. Okay? It works great in neti pot as well. Next is the oregano oil. It's a great antimicrobial agent. Great for toenail fungus, candida overgrowth. Now, when I had my blood tested, there were little spots of candida. 10 years ago, when I last had my blood checked, I had way more candida. So 10 years older, doesn't life, people tell me it sucks to get old, right? Don't get old. But I'm older and I feel healthier now than I did 10 years ago. Just because, again, just applying the information that we're putting out, okay? Echinacea, golden seal, elderberry extract, organic green tea. Okay, load up on that. If you're expressing, you could do broth, like a chicken soup, like an organic good broth. Very, very healing and cleansing. But I would start with these. There it is, final slide. Not too bad. Well, I think we have like 65 slides here on this. And it's an hour and 12 minutes we're at. Okay, so we're good. We're good on time. It's only 7:12 now. Here it is. Reduce or remove the 3 causes of interference. So there's 3 causes. How do we get our immune system stronger? How do we have the best body armor possible? Physical stress, chemical stress, and emotional stress. Okay? Eat more real food, less fake food. What are 3 toxic ingredients? 3 anti-nutrients. Remember that slide a couple slides ago? Sugar was 1.
Antibiotics.
Artificial
Hormones,
sweeteners.
yep. And artificial, yep. I'll count antibiotics with artificial. What's 3?
White flour or.
Gluten and grains, and then there was pasteurized dairy.
Yeah.
Okay? Get rid of those. Get those out. Not good for you. It's going to make your immune system weaker. Sleep more and sleep more soundly. Okay? Wash your hands regularly with warm water and toxic-free antimicrobial soap. Not antibacterial. Not hand sanitizers like Purell. Which again, you go in the hospitals, you
Yeah,
push their
oh yeah, there it is.
Yep.
Everywhere they.
I had a patient here this afternoon. She carries around a Young Living. It's a thieves hand sanitizer. Good stuff. Real good stuff. So it's a combo of cinnamon and cloves. It smells really good. Okay, so you can use something like that. That would work. Move more. Consider purchasing. Again, if you're not exercising enough and you want to start exercising more, maybe a smartwatch or a Fitbit or step counter, something that can hold you accountable to hitting goals. Set goals for yourself when it comes to your fitness. Supplement daily with the probiotics. When should you take your probiotic? First thing. It's a foundation. What should you be more concerned about, your vitamin D levels or your flu shot ingredient levels? Yes. And if you don't know if you're deficient or not, go to your doctor, ask for the tests. They'll draw your blood and they'll test your vitamin D. And if you're deficient, you should be on a high whole food base, at least 5,000 IU dosage a day. Okay? True or false, condition of your spine is a window to your overall health. True. Okay? And then finally, name 3 supplements and herbal remedies to support your immune system fight more effectively. We just covered these 5 minutes ago. Maybe 3.
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C, yep. 2 more. Vitamin D, yep. Zinc is 1, yep. And then we did the elderberry, echinacea, garlic, oregano, and all that. All right, guys. I think that is all. We're done. Thank you all for coming out. Anyone have any questions at all?
On that, Dr. Dan, on that list of leading causes of death in the U.S., where does opioid overdose fit in there?
That's a good one. I don't know. I don't have that number off the top of my head.
I think it's right up there. with
It
the-
should be. It's
with
probably
the top.
hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would categorize opioid, because those are oftentimes are prescribed. I know iatrogenic or medical errors and mistakes is, I don't know the exact number off the top of my head. I'm gonna have to look at that. I don't know if they categorize opioids with medical errors or if it's a separate category.
Oh, okay.
So I'd have to look into that. A good question. Anyone else?